Hello students, this is the continuation and the last part of the chapter Why Do We Fall In? In our previous modules, we have seen what is disease, what is health, types of disease, causes of disease, agents that spread disease, etc. Here in today's class, we will discuss about the principle of treatment of disease and principle of prevention of disease. So let us start with principle of treatment first. Again, we will understand this with the help of a case. Suppose a boy of your age falls ill. He or she must be showing some signs and symptoms, and they include high fever, stomachache, vomiting, and the child goes to the doctor. The doctor prescribes some medicine. The first, say, a medicine to reduce the fever. Something like Calpol, you all are familiar with. Whenever you have fever, you are given Calpol or paracetamol. Suppose you are suffering from, or the child is suffering from very frequent vomiting. The doctor gives him an anti-vomiting medicine. And along with it, the doctor prescribes rest, diet, etc. And at the last, the doctor gives him medicines in the form of antibiotics. Just this case will explain the entire principle of treatment. So what was the first thing? The principle of treatment lies or can be divided into two phases. One is general, the other is specific. In general principle of treatment, the patient is treated symptomatically. Like as I said, as because the patient is having fever, he is given with a medicine to reduce the fever first. The patient is having frequent vomiting, so he is given an anti-vomiting medicine. So both of these medicines are based on the symptoms that the patient is showing. That is the fever and the vomiting. So this is the symptomatic treatment of the patient. But actually the cause of the disease is yet to be addressed. Then the doctor says the child has to be in bed rest for 7 days so that the child conserves the energy and utilizes the same for the healing purpose. And third, a balanced and nutritious diet is prescribed so that the body of the patient can fight with the infection, so that the cells which are required to fight the infection are synthesized in a faster and appropriate rate so that the body can combat the infection. So here, these are all the general principles. Here, the child's actual causative agent of the disease is not addressed. That is addressed in the specific treatment, where the child is given with an antibiotic against that particular causative agents. Because the doctor knows, if it is because of as the case I was discussing earlier only, typhoid fever, then the doctor will search the best antibiotic against the Salmonella typhi and prescribe the same. If it is against any other bacterial disease, likewise, say pneumonia, the doctor will search for the medicine or antibiotic which is best against Diplococcus pneumoniae. And the specific treatment will start with the administration of antibiotics. So in severe cases, the antibiotics are given in injection forms so that a faster and a higher dose can be delivered. So students, the principle of treatment is thus divided into two types: the general principle, which is based on symptoms, conserving body energy and providing the body with the requirements to fight off the infection. And the specific one is the administration of the drugs which directly fight the causative organism. But as we all say, prevention is better than cure. So next we will see the principle of prevention. Again, the principle of prevention can be a general one and the specific one. The general principles include the public health measure. Like for now we all know there's no medicine for COVID. So we have to go for general principle of prevention. How? In the form of wearing the mask, keeping social distancing, and then washing the hands frequently, keeping ourselves clean. Whenever we come out from outside, leave those clothes, wash them in hot water, etc. They are all general principles of prevention. Similarly, the second line of general prevention of principles includes having clean drinking water, good sanitization at home, healthy and nutritious food, etc. They all help to prevent the development of disease. And the second principle of prevention is the specific principle of prevention in the form of vaccination. Now, we all have experienced vaccines right from our childhood. What happens? We are given injections to prevent some diseases. So that injection is vaccine. So what it does? It increases the immunity of the body to fight off the infection that occurs for the second time in the body, because principle of vaccination is dependent on development of immunity for the second attack of the pathogen. So what happens in vaccination? The body during vaccination is provided with a mild, non-lethal, very light dose of the same causative organism which causes the particular disease. So body will develop mild response. It won't be fatal. It will develop mild response in the form of fever or very mild responses of that particular disease. But what we do? It will prepare the body for the second attack in the form of saving the memory cells. These memory cells, they recognize the pathogen and they are circulating in the body. And when a second natural attack of the same causative organism occurs, the body gives a very fast and vigorous response against that pathogen. And that pathogen is not able to inhabit the body and cause the disease. In this way, that small little sublethal dose or a very plain dose of that particular causative organism saves the body from the next infection. You know who discovered this principle of vaccination? It was discovered by Sir Edward Jenner. And its discovery has a very interesting story. Let me share it with you all. Edward Jenner was there working with some milkmaids. He found that the milkmaid developed blisters on their hand due to milking of the cows which suffered with cowpox virus. Now, when the smallpox infection it spread in that village, the milkmaid never got the infection. This led Edward Jenner to think that the small blisters that occurred due to the cowpox infection must have prevented these ladies from the further smallpox infection. So what he did? He called a small boy to him and he inoculated the fluid from the blisters of those milkmaid into that boy. And then he injected the boy with the extracts of the smallpox virus. And he found that the boy did not develop the disease. This led to the discovery of vaccination. The term vaccination comes from the word vecca, meaning cow, and vaccina means cow pox. And now we have various types of vaccines. The most common one is DPT vaccine against the diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus. The BCG vaccine against tuberculosis, which stands for Bacillus calmette-guerin. Then you have the polio vaccine in the form of pulse polio program. You'll often find the advertisement in the TV to give the pulse polio vaccination to the babies, which can prevent them, save the child from the deadly polio disease, which the effect of the disease is irreversible. So this is about this particular chapter.